deep in the wilderness. This lone survivor navigates the treacherous rocky terrain, seeking a secure shelter within the damp, echoing cavern. Securing a heavy wooden beam into the rock crevice, he establishes the foundational frame for his resting place. Survival here is not merely about finding a cave, but rather transforming a hostile void into a defensible sanctuary. Dawn breaks over the misty forest. The survivor navigates slippery moss-covered boulders, then venturing into dense jungle to scout for resources. Gripping thick vines, he scales the steep embankment with precision. Each cautious step is a necessary gamble to secure materials for long-term endurance. Back at the cavern entrance, the survivor systematically clears the obstructing shrubs and slashes through the tangled vines, choking the rocky perimeter. With the immediate area secured, his gaze shifts toward the unexplored depths of the subterranean expanse. This initial site clearance is not merely about tidying up, but rather represents a deliberate act of reclaiming the territory from the encroaching wilderness that threatens to seal him out. Heavy labor commences at the muddy site, dragging a massive rotting log from the deep muck. He balances carefully across a makeshift timber bridge to dump the debris outside. Wielding a machete with relentless force, he severs the stubborn roots anchoring the overgrown vegetation. But eradicating these deeply entrenched obstacles is the only way to properly prepare the uneven ground. For substantial construction ahead, the ground gradually reveals its original contours. Excavating soil from higher mounds, the survivor fills the depressions to create a level surface, compacting the earth with his bare feet. A thick layer of protective bark is then laid over the dirt to prevent moisture seepage. This meticulous ground preparation ensures the future foundation remains stable against the relentless tropical humidity and shifting soil conditions. A sharpened wooden pole serves as his primary digging tool, piercing the hardened earth. He gradually deepens the trench with extraordinary patience, preparing the base for the main structural pillars. Shouldering a massive timber, he navigates the jagged rocks to position the heavy load precisely against the cave wall. Thus, such grueling physical exertion lays the invisible groundwork for the entire architectural framework. Every movement is deliberate, every step calculated, building not just a shelter but a testament to human resilience. 3 parallel timber beams now span across the rocky gap, carving a deep circular socket into the soft cavern wall. He wedges the end of the main beam securely into the carved recess. A forked vertical post is then jammed underneath to form a rigid triangular support. This ingenious load-bearing distribution prevents the heavy structure from collapsing under its own immense weight. Fine adjustments are now being made to the overhead framework. Straddling the rough timber, the survivor carefully marks the exact intersection points and saws precise notches into the wood. Kneeling on the ground, he cuts matching grooves along the corresponding logs to ensure a seamless mechanical interlock. This traditional woodworking technique eliminates the need for metal fasteners, relying entirely on the friction of perfectly fitted joints to hold the structure together. A heavy wooden block serves as a makeshift mallet, driving the interlocking joints tightly together. With a heavy machete, he carves a semicircular recess into the timber. He presses the connection to verify the snug fit, before retrieving a long iron nail. Striking the metal spike with precision, he permanently locks the intersecting beams in place. The sharp echoes of the hammering signify the final irreversible consolidation. of the primary load-bearing framework within this cavern. The relentless tropical rain forces a temporary halt to outdoor construction. Retreating to the shelter of the cave, the survivor drags a massive green bamboo comb to his workstation, slicing through the tough outer layer with a handsaw. He then splits the comb cleanly in half with a vertical machete strike. He stands another long stalk upright, applying precise force to split it along the natural grain. The fresh scent of bamboo sap seems to permeate the air. This meticulous processing of moisture-rich materials ensures a steady supply of essential flooring elements. Despite the adverse weather conditions outside, massive bamboo splitting continues at the rocky entrance. Bringing the machete down with devastating force, he cleaves the long combs into uniform, manageable strips. Shaving off the sharp edges and internal nodes, he transports the smooth bamboo boards to the central platform, laying these vibrant green planks across the dark timber beams. Creates a striking visual contrast, while establishing the primary walking surface. Meticulous alignment of the bamboo flooring demands absolute precision. Using thin strips as binding ties, he carefully weaves them through narrow gaps to secure planks to underlying beams. After sawing a round log into shorter segments, he steps onto the newly installed guardrail for a rigorous weight test. The structural integrity of the entire platform is ultimately validated by the unyielding strength of these natural bindings, ensuring safety under pressure and demonstrating his skilled craftsmanship. Violent shaking of the guardrail proves the absolute rigidity of the reinforced pillars. Descending the wooden ladder, the survivor gathers additional bamboo poles from the scattered debris pile to prepare for further expansion. Completing the final cuts, he stacks the processed timber and uses a machete to split the remaining columns into quarters. But this continuous cycle of material processing guarantees that the construction momentum never stalls due to a lack of resources. Transforming raw bamboo into flexible weaving material demands immense physical strength and unwavering precision. Stepping firmly on the strips to hold them steady, he uses the sharp blade to tear the fibers into remarkably thin, pliable ribbons. After clearing away the accumulated wood shavings and debris, he carefully categorizes the processed materials for immediate use. However, aligning the widest bamboo pieces first establishes a solid, uniform base layer for the intricate weaving process that follows. Deeply focused on the intricate weaving process, smoothing the edges of the completed bamboo mat to ensure a tight, flush surface, the survivor hoists the massive woven wall panel. Carrying it to the cave entrance, he slides the flexible yet sturdy panel directly into the recut grooves of the wooden frame. This seamless integration effectively seals the open side of the shelter, transforming a mere platform into an enclosed, weatherproof habitat. Securing the wall panels demands far more than mere friction. He wraps tough bamboo strips around thick support posts, pulling them taut and knotting them tightly to prevent any lateral shifting or structural weakness. A heavy wooden crossbar is then wedged from within to lock the structure firmly against the frame. A critical reinforcement verified by pushing hard against the exterior surface. With the walls fully stabilized, he immediately begins sawing fresh bamboo to upgrade the internal flooring system. Precision cutting defines the next phase. Chopping bamboo combs into exact squares, he tests the fit by inserting sharpened pegs into drilled slots. Arranging longitudinal pipes in parallel rows, he interlocks them with horizontal supports to form a massive grid framework. This traditional construction relies not on metal fasteners, but entirely on the friction of perfectly fitted joints. Finalizing the entrance requires absolute security against external threats. Inspecting the seal from the inside, the survivor retrieves his canvas backpack and places it securely on the newly woven bamboo floor. Stepping back outside, he closes the dual bamboo doors, verifying that they cannot be easily forced open from the exterior. But this simple yet effective locking mechanism marks the definitive transition from a temporary camp to a fully fortified personal sanctuary. Environmental fortification continues with the extraction of heavy stone materials. Hauling massive waterlogged slabs from the mountain stream, he paves the muddy entrance stairs to prevent erosion and slipping. Selecting highly resinous bamboo joints, he arranges them in a ventilated pit and carefully ignites the dry shavings with a spark. However, the resulting steady flame not only provides essential warmth, but also initiates the crucial process of cooking his foraged sustenance. Sustenance preparation begins with the processing of foraged root vegetables. Extracting dirt-covered cassava from his reserves, he peels the thick skins over a bed of broad green leaves using a sharp machete. Placing the peeled segments into the boiling pot, he meticulously washes away residual starch and impurities in cold water. This rigorous cleaning process is vital to remove natural toxins and ensure the food is safe for consumption. Evening routines demand a shift from heavy labor to meticulous maintenance. Adjusting his camouflage gear for unrestricted movement, the survivor climbs the ladder and pauses to gaze at the encroaching jungle canopy. Sitting on the bamboo steps, he strikes a flint to generate a shower of sparks, successfully igniting the evening hearth. But this daily ritual of fire-making reaffirms his dominance over the harsh environment. As daylight fades into darkness, illumination transforms the dark cavern into a habitable living space. Extracting a burning branch from the central fire, he carefully lights multiple candles and secures them to the structural beams of his shelter. Climbing steadily into the enclosed bamboo hut, he kneels on the woven floor to meticulously spread out his blanket, smoothing every wrinkle with deliberate care. The warm, flickering candlelight creates a profound sense of psychological safety, effectively isolating him from the hostile wilderness that lies just beyond the thin walls.